Abusia for legal vacation no e dey nsem bebre e dey aba enya sem to me first akonya we so e mo akwa abaso so e fa wo emra channel so ha abusia for that's why e be media gi yes ye be ka ya legal vacation e na chief justice e dey nsem bi e dey ba ya e ma attorney general dey beto e Ghana for edum se hwe e ya dey legal vacation e koso all right but there are some cases very special cases these cases need to be attended to na ebi Edubuahi case yes former NSB case ene Abdul Anan, yes, former Buffer Stock, CEO. Abusia, cases bi wo ho a omo select say case we, yes. Legal vacation e ho de na so cases we say etena se ye di ni tentem letumi efiri ho. Na cases ewu akire eba no. Edoso. Na abusia sa asem we ya eba abonten no. Ema Ojo Oppong Nkrumah Abusia it is a less of abonten be boss asem we na du yo ka kire ye judges ne say ema obia ensi court omo bo chief justice ne nsem wo de aba abonten. Efa this cases here or chadia high profile and also special cases say etenase count and seminal abusuan or say omo entungu nenne abusuan for court atenase course adinsem court adinsem edi aba omo the reply edi ama Kojo Oppong Nkrumah pese yeko na yetie na ye chaya bia ensem na make na abusuan me hu ensem no ya na se me hu ensem ne kayeti pese ya yeko na yetie na yetumi kire ya adwen ha era so aye be mi de gicham se be wase ene de decode to channel so need no book kwan so need no book kwan so e be so be subscribe e de amai bobo notification bell no so for podcast updates ha ye ni atem yes ye ni atem be mi de agi be fasa kwan ya we sado bi ara se mama ye ntie ne course e wo court Abraham Kojo Oppong Nkrumah ekopie ho emra sesia.
Now the Supreme Court has set Friday, August 21st, to deliver its ruling on the injunction application seeking to restrain the specialized court sitting during the legal vacation of Hwasia Yerebi MP Çourt Oppong Nkrumah filed a writ at the Supreme Court challenging the decision by the Chief Justice to allow some judges to sit and hear criminal matters during the legal vacation. He's praying the Apex Court to declare the warrants issued by the Chief Justice as unconstitutional. Lord Edwasari was in court. He's joining us with a bit more from there. Lord, what else can you tell us about this latest development?
Today, to start off, doorstep as the sole judge presiding on the matter, and once the case was called, the lawyer representing the MP for Hwasia Yerebi, led by Frank Davis, he argued that, for example, the Deputy Attorney General, or essentially the Attorney General, should not be representing the Chief Justice as a legal counsel in the matter, since the Chief Justice is a respondent defendant in the case. But Deputy Attorney General Tremsai, representing the Attorney General's office, indicated that that cannot be the case because the Chief Justice can only use a separate lawyer in the case if constitutionally they have opposing sides. But because they have the same view, it is mandatory that the Attorney General represents the Chief Justice, since constitutionally the Attorney General is the one who represents all public or government officials in cases. Now, in ruling on that objection raised by Frank Davis, presiding judge doorstep indicated that he's going to overrule that objection by Frank Davis, adding that the Chief already sent a representative who is from the judicial office to represent him, and his legal representative is the Attorney General, pending or in the event that there's any divergent views, the Attorney General is the one supposed to represent, but he gives his full reasoning in his decision on the motion itself. And then Frank Davis now went ahead to move the motion, the injunction, interlocutory injunction motion. He argued that the injunction is not granted, irreparable damage will be stationed on person, and essentially the applicants, in this case, Çourt Oppong Nkrumah. Now, his sole argument, or one of his arguments, was that the practice direction over the years is that lawyers in the matters tend to agree with the presiding judge on cases when they should be heard during the legal vacation. And so it cannot be that the Chief Justice will give a direction mandatorily for legal vacation judges or vacation court to sit during the legal vacation.
Very well, Lord, let's take a listen. Let's take a listen to lawyer for OUT Oppong Nkrumah, Frank Davis, on this matter.
A minimum of 300,000 Ghana cedis towards the payment of referees at the regional level, and this policy will continue. War against illegal betting. The global surge
did not sit well with him. Well, that is his ruling. But we are still convinced that the special circumstances of this case should not be the one to be representing the Chief Justice, because the authorities I quoted clearly were to the effect that as a defendant in a matter, the Chief Justice should have lawyers of his own choice office, because if
Lord, we couldn't capture the full essence of what Frank Davis was saying in that clip for our audiences, but perhaps you can tell us what the Attorney General or the Deputy Attorney General said during the hearing today or after the hearing today.
Well, during the hearing, the Attorney General indicated that the applicant, or in this case, the Member of Parliament for Oppong has no case in the matter because it is not the purview of lawyers to determine when the case should be adjourned or whether a case should be heard during the legal vacation. It is the sole prerogative of the judge. And so, petitioning the Chief Justice will not be effective in that it is the discretion of the sitting judge to adjourn the matter after conferring with the lawyers, and so their application should be refused. And also indicates that the manner in which they even approach the Supreme Court is defective, in that they shouldn't have come requesting for the original jurisdiction of the court. They should have just sought a certiorari in the High Court decision. That the EFS courts to refuse or dismiss the injunction application so that the cases can continue to be heard during the legal vacation. After hearing the argument, the presiding judge in the matter, Gabriel Skopamang, then adjourned or set tomorrow, Friday, to decide on or to give a ruling on the injunction application by the MP for First and Çourt Nkrumah. So we are back in court tomorrow in the morning for the ruling by the Supreme Court on the injunction application.
Thank you very much for the report. And Lord Edu Asare is our court correspondent. We'll now turn attention to other important matters.
And the Energy Minister, Dr. John Jinapor, says the recent power outages are being triggered by a fragile temporary system at the Akosombo power plant installed to avert a 6-month shutdown following a major incident after the explosion at the Gridco Akosombo substation in April. He says a permanent control center is expected to be ready next month, which should significantly improve the stability of power supply across the country. My colleague Noble Crosby Annan is providing us with a bit more in terms of details as to what the minister has been saying at the commissioning of a new office for the Public Utility and Regulatory Commission. Crosby, we hear the minister has also been charging the PURC to tighten regulation on the power sector. Talk to us about that to start off with.
Well, Mauna, so as part of the mandate of the PURC, the minister is asking them to, make sure that they work holistically. And as part of what they should do, is asking that they strengthen regulations of the sector and then intensify scrutiny of utilities, especially the commercial performance of the case in point was the Electricity Company of Ghana for obvious reasons. So the manager is charging the PRC to scrutinize the commercial performance of ECG property, as well as to let consumers feel the presence of the PRC beyond, tariff announcement. These are some of the things that the minister is asking of the PRC as the PRC commissions its new building at the Red Runabout.
Right, and let's get on to the substantive matter in relation to this dawn's power outage, which affected major parts of the country. Exactly what does the minister say is expected to happen, and how soon is that expected to happen as well?
So, Mona, this goes as far back as April 23 this year, when an explosion at the Great Bankosabo substation destroyed a switchyard control room. Now, that control room is critical because it manages the evacuation of electricity generated at the Akosombo dam onto the national grid. If you remember, the incident isolated a lot of megawatts from the Akosombo generating station, and it caused major power disruptions in the entire country. Now, what happened was that instead of keeping the Akosombo area shut down while the entire control room that was destroyed by the fire was rebuilt, via RICO engineers and all the value chain players in the electricity supply and generation of the country decided to, if you like, bypass the destroyed control room and then install a temporary control arrangement. Now, this is a temporary mechanism that the minister said it was a decision he had to take to ensure that the country was able to get electricity. So what happened is that they were able to bypass and then install a temporary arrangement. However, because it is a temporary arrangement, any small fault from that area triggers it to shut down. And that is what has happened today, this morning, in parts of the country. So the shutdown is a result of the temporary arrangement that has also developed some concern. That is why we don't have light in some part of the country as we speak. But the minister is telling us that engineers have already restored power to a number of areas, a considerable number of areas. For those who still do not have power, a team of engineers, they're still working to ensure that power is restored completely in the country. However, bearing in mind that this is a temporary solution, the ministry is working, and by next month, we should have a permanent replacement to the situation that happened on April 23 at the Akosombo substation. Marina.
Minister first will speak to these matters, and then we'll hear him on the expectation on the PURC as well.
Before we came to office, just about 6 billion was declared monthly into the cash waterfall. IPPs were receiving just about 42%. Because of the work we did together and the policy reforms that we implemented, today we declared close to about 15 billion every month into the cash waterfall mechanism. And almost all the IPPs receive about 100% of their invoice bills. So we are not billing arrears like it used to be. When we assumed office, the outstanding debt was about 80 billion cedis. We've also renegotiated with the IPPs, working with the PURC, and we've saved about $250 million again from there. So clearly, we are making significant progress. But I would urge you to strengthen the regulation of your sector. I know sometimes, as you strengthen the enforcement, you step on toes. But you have to step on some toes sometimes to ensure that you achieve your objective. Also intensify scrutiny of all the utilities, particularly their commercial performance. And when I say this, I zero down on ECG, because the ECG is the key link when it comes to the value chain in terms of the financial sector or the energy sector. Because if they don't get the money, it will be difficult to pay. I also encourage you that you let the consumer feel the presence of the regulator beyond tariff announcement. And like I said, you've been doing a lot, so I encourage you to do more. Also, deepen stakeholder engagement. You don't operate as an island. And so build consensus, work with people, and finally, let's support industrial competitiveness, particularly in relation to the President's 24-hour economy.
Apologies for the quality of sound there, but earlier was my colleague Noble Crosby-Annan with a bit more in terms of details from what the Energy Minister has been saying.
Now, more than 300 members of the Ghana Mine Workers Union have besieged the premises of the central bank to present a petition demanding release of funds belonging to mine workers whose monies have been locked up in the Bank of Ghana regulated financial institutions since 2019. The demonstrators, made up of members of the Mine Workers Union, marched to the central bank to demand action over more than 350 million Ghana cedis they say is owed to 19,000 mine workers. The union is therefore calling on the central bank to take immediate steps to facilitate the release of funds and ensure affected workers receive their monies. Here's General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union, Abdul Mumin Gbana, who presented the petition to officials of the Bank of Ghana.
We are demanding. We are demanding. We are demanding. The governor of the Bank of Ghana owes us a responsibility under its enabling act to protect us.
Exactly so.
Unfortunately, they have failed. And so we are demanding that all our locked up funds in excess of 350 million Ghana cedis belonging to 19,000 members, miners of this country and their families. We are demanding every penny from the Bank of Ghana. Today, you have just about 150 members who are National Executive Council members. Our membership is in excess of 14,000. The next time we are here, we are coming with all the 19,000 members, both current and former. We are coming with our wives and our children. We are coming here with our husbands and our children. We are coming here with our grandparents, our grandmothers, our uncles and our aunties, because all of them depend on our life savings. And so, as a law.
Now, head of legal at the Bank of Ghana, who received this petition, said their grievances will be resolved.
Matter your voice. Matter your voice.
Petition this morning. We hear your concerns and the funds regarding the funds being locked up, and the challenges in the mining sector. The Bank of Ghana remains committed to the financial stability, consumer protection, and public confidence. While some of the funds are under the purview of other regulatory agencies, we assure you that your concerns raised will be given the due consideration. We will study your petition carefully and engage with the relevant stakeholders to ensure that your concerns are addressed through the appropriate channels. We thank you for exercising your democratic rights peacefully and orderly. The Bank of Ghana remains open to dialogue.
Now, gold purchasing program and its resultant losses. These words have inundated the media space for the last 48 plus hours. Ernest Abubeli Lansa breaks down the issues in relation to the subject matter.
The Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Marking says Gold Board and the Domestic Gold Purchasing Program, DGPP, made losses to the tune of $1.7 billion, equivalent to 22 billion cedis. This is a claim anchored in an IMF.
We and some more team course or channel so mommy and also Jemre. As I saw, but they are doing